Happy holidays from Russ and Lauren here on the Infectious Groove music channel. If we have timed all these things right and ran around for the holidays as much as we have planned and all this stuff, you will be seeing this video on the morning of Christmas Eve. If we didn't time all this right, hopefully you enjoyed your Christmas Eve or you're going to enjoy your Christmas Eve. Having said that, we are going to throw a little hope and cheer at it and hope everything goes right for this. This is a little different vinyl video than we usually do. We're not going to we may throw in some comments about the quality of these pressings, but this isn't really a review. This is literally just kind of what we've been listening to this holiday season on vinyl. And, I find for me, if you're a longtime viewer of the channel, I used to have a huge record collection. I sold it off, and Lauren and I are kind of rebuilding in what I call a more selective way that we're going about it, right? And the reason why I say that is because in my old collection, I had all the stuff you would normally think of. I had like 4 or 5 different, now that's what I call Christmases. I had the very special Christmas, at least the first 2.
Oh, right, okay.
I had like hip hop Christmas. I had all these Christmas records. And then I never listened to any of them. I only listened to like a very few. Well, let me put it this way. One of the records that Lauren is going to talk about during this video, I owned and never heard prior to you buying it this year. I own the record because you're supposed to own it. Everybody owns this album.
Yeah.
And I bought it and literally never listened to it. So the other reason why we're not going to do a review of these is these are both very run-of-the-mill pedestrian pressings. These are records that her and I were in Target, saw, and went, we would totally listen to that.
Yep.
Both of them for different reasons. So one is, again, everybody owns this record. Vince Guaraldi. Yes.
Yes.
And I know it sounds silly, but I grew up in a home without Christmas. Like, we didn't celebrate Christmas, so I never listened to this. And then years later, when I started buying Christmas records, I bought it because you're supposed to own it. And then I just never listened to it. So hearing this pressing with you was the first time I'd ever heard it.
Oh.
And so, but you had heard this many times, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, this is the soundtrack to one of my probably favorite Christmas specials. It's the Charlie Brown Christmas, and if you don't know already what we're talking about. And the thing for me is, like, the visuals of the Charlie Brown Christmas special are so very tied into the way that this record sounds.
Yeah.
And I think that's in large part due to how Vince Guaraldi understood the Peanuts characters. Sure. And so that's just a whole lot of fun for me. And yeah, when we were in Target, it was like August or something, and I saw this sitting there, and I grabbed it. I was like, "We're gonna listen to this," and we put up the tree.
And then we did.
We did.
And then the other thing too, and I always take some pictures to at least show you some stuff. Like I say, these are run-of-the-mill pressings, but I thought it sounded great. I don't really care one way or the other about color vinyl or splatter vinyl, but I do think it looks cool.
Oh, for the holiday.
The LP. But what I like is, I'm not mistaken, right? That the original cover of this is white.
I think so.
Yeah. And then with this, it's like a gold foil cover. And I really like that it's embossed.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any of the original pressings, or at least the one I had, wasn't like that. It was just a plain flat cardboard. And then there's a poster in there, which I thought was cute.
Schroeder and Lucy, which I think is great because Schroeder's the one who played the piano.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun.
For me, for the record, what's funny is having never seen the special either still to this day, when it started, I was kind of like, don't take me the wrong way. It was good, but I was like, well, this is just a jazz record though. I don't understand. And then when you hear the kids sing Hark the Herald Angel or whatever, you're like, oh, and I've never seen the special, but I can see it in my mind, if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
When you said that about the kids' voices is what made it. The other one that we've been listening to, it was probably even the same visit to Target.
Might have been.
Was I've never seen this particular Motown Christmas before. It was a 2 LP Motown Christmas special set. It's on one clear red vinyl, one clear blue or clear green vinyl. And to me, this is probably, you can answer this actually, because I grew up in Detroit, Motown just sounds like Christmas to me. Like the big, like I know Phil Spector's The Wall of Sound, but the big wall of sound type sound that comes out of Motown, even if it's like Dancing in the Streets, that song just sounds like Christmas to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, even when I was a kid and we didn't listen to it much, if any, Christmas music, just hearing any Motown stuff or like to me, the Jackson 5, that's the sound of Christmas to me. Like there, Santa Claus is coming to town and all that. But on this LP, there's one thing missing that I was really bummed that wasn't on there. And then there's a lot of things that I was like, wow, I've never heard this version before.
Yeah, there was a lot I hadn't heard on it.
The thing that's missing is Stevie Wonder's What Christmas Means to Me. What are you doing? How are you going to have a Motown Christmas record without that? That's wildly upsetting to me.
Yeah.
But then there was stuff like let me bring up the track listing. Like the Temptations version of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like funky.
Yeah, it's funky.
Yeah,
it's funky.
Like I'd never heard that before somehow. There was a lot of stuff like again, the Temptations version of Little Drummer Boy. I don't think I'd ever heard the Supremes version of Silver Bells before.
I'd heard that one.
Okay.
I'd heard that one. And I'll tell you what, like the Smokey Robinson stuff on here, I think is great. And most of it, I hadn't, like, if I'd heard it, I didn't place it. I wasn't really paying attention.
Smokey the Man.
Yeah.
So I just love Smokey. Smokey is, and I think I just told you this personally yesterday, that there's two women I can think of that could sing the phone book and I'd be okay with it. Smokey is in that category. Smokey Robinson could sing the phone book and I would just be like, yes,
okay,
bring me that. But yeah, I'm looking at the Deck the Halls version. Cool, great vocal. So, but yeah, I love it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It, again, for me, it's one of the only things that's nostalgic for Christmas because I don't have a lot of nostalgia for Christmas, right? But it's one of the things that even here growing up where I grew up, you can't, even if normal Motown didn't make me think of Christmas, you can't live in Detroit without hearing Motown Christmas everywhere.
That makes sense.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
You know? So for me, it was one of those things. It was almost the same for you where you were like, oh, this is my childhood, this
with the
Charlie Brown,
yeah.
right? And I got to grab this. And then with Motown, it was like, well, our house shall not have a record selection without Motown Christmas. And what's funny is the old collection that I never had a Motown collection I had Motown collection of hits, but I never had a Motown Christmas collection.
Well, there we go. Yeah, and I think that's you're right, because it's a fun pair of records for us to have
completely different from each other
for the holidays. Yeah, and both of us is like, oh yeah, you get the warm fuzzies from
and
thing.
there was stuff on both of them that we were both like, oh, that's cool, I like that now.
Yep.
Yeah. So having said that, that's just a little recap video we wanted to do of this is literally like, I mean, we have a playlist in the car, but like 4 records, this is what we've been listening to for the holidays. So no matter what you celebrate, not to be a jerk, but please don't leave us a comment about how you don't celebrate Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I'm sure you're celebrating something. I grew up in a home where they didn't celebrate Christmas and we were still celebrating something at this time of year. So whatever you are having fun with this time of year, please drop us a comment and let us know whether it's the same Vince Guaraldi record that Lauren knew real well, or if you're listening to a different Motown compilation than me, or neither of those things, whatever it is that you're listening to at this time of year, we would love it if you would drop a comment. If you're in any sort of music groups or even holiday groups or whatever on social media, if you could share this video in there, not just to get people to watch our video, but for to spark discussion in those groups. That's always fun for us as well. But we do hope that you had a wonderful and safe time of this year, no matter what you're celebrating. As we go into the next year, we thank you very much for everything you've time and energy you've put into our channel this year, and going forward, we hope that everybody enjoys everything we're doing. We're going to keep trying to keep it up for everybody. As we always say, have said all year, and will all next year. Thank you so much for watching.